Are you enjoying the DNC so far?
Absolutely. I absolutely think it's hilarious that I saw something earlier that they actually had, I forget what it was called. Let me see here. A watch party in Milwaukee where the RNC was.
Oh my
And
God.
they filled both places. They filled the stadium in Chicago and the stadium in Milwaukee. And you know that Donald Trump is going crazy because crowd size is like
Everything.
it seems like that's all he cares about. It's crowd size.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal. I love the fact that we have Trumps that are speaking at the Democratic National Committee. You've got the mayor of Mesa, Arizona. You've got Anna Navarro. You've got other people that worked on his staff, on Trump's staff, that are speaking out against Donald Trump. You didn't have anything like that during the RNC. You had racist Hulk Hogan. And that was about it. And I'm telling you, the DNC is on fire. It is.
Oh my God!
Absolutely killing it. And the speeches. I mean, when Michelle Obama said that maybe somebody needs to tell him that the job he's trying for is a black job, and then Donald Trump's crowd size. Oh my gosh!
Oh, like I gotta say, from a comedic standpoint, and from a mic drop standpoint, and from a total diss standpoint. Obama's like hand gestures and then just barely looking at his hands to draw attention was so choice. Like the timing of it was surgical. It was so good. Surgical. It was amazing. So, go ahead.
No, Hillary Clinton did a phenomenal job. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the DNC is absolutely fired up. It is strengthening.
It's what real excitement looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, there's a picture that has Kamala with the smile on her face, and next to her was Donald Trump when he fell asleep in the middle of the RNC. So, I mean, ain't nobody sleeping at the DNC right now.
Dude, one of the best things about the fact that they cut to her in Milwaukee at the same place he did his entire convention. She's doing a single campaign stop. It is just as full as their entire convention. And it looks cooler with that like theater in the round stage that they put there. No teleprompters. She just walking out there. They're basically like shooting the shit with the crowd there. And then, oh my God. And then they're cutting to her there and then referencing back to the full like McCormick Center in Chicago. So good. And you just know it's like she's got two giant crowds in two different cities at the same time. At the same time, this motherfucker is standing there with like 5 suck-up cops that like him in a town where 30 cops probably work and the rest of them didn't show up for this shit, where the guy owns, and that other event that he did the day before at a factory in York, PA, where the owner made his employees show up, which should be illegal, and that's a whole other conversation for another time. And they're having to fucking sit there. And my favorite part of that, and I showed a little bit on the stream, my favorite part of that was he goes, you're the kind of people that are the backbone of this country. You do all the work that makes this country move. And it's very clear he is not talking about, even metaphorically, the factory workers who are sitting in front of him. He is talking about his rich-ass friends that are peppered along the back wall who are going to a dinner with him later where they're going to give him money to run his campaign or whatever. Like, he's not... They're right in front of him, and he's like looking right over their heads to go, you guys are the important people.
Yeah.
Fuck him. And it's like a corralled audience, and they're miserable, and it's tiny. It's so good. All of it is so good.
Let's hope that this, fires people up, because here's the thing. We can't just beat Donald Trump. We have to annihilate him. Because if we show up in large numbers to vote and we win this election and we win it by a landslide, they won't have the ability to be able to say that it was stolen. They won't have the people that are put in place right now. And Rachel Maddow did a show on this. There are like 70 people placed in positions to basically challenge the elections. Yeah. But you know what? You can't challenge the elections when it's a landslide victory for the Democrats. They're not going to be able to do anything. And by the way, they also need to understand that just like the fake electors, and many of these fake electors are going to see the inside of a jail cell. That is a fact. they can be there too. They can follow the fake electric folks, and they can go to prison too. And as far as I'm concerned, don't bother me. I wish they'd send in prison for life. I don't care.
Well, I do think they should go for a significant amount of time, like a scary significant amount of time for attacking the function of the government, while the rest of us, because that, the thing I go back to is the government at its root is emergency services. The most important aspect of the government in many ways is the FDA, like food safety, and FEMA, for the two big Fs that are out there, not to mention, the CDC. If you fuck up the government so it's run poorly on purpose, you damage those things, that's our response time. That means people die. You are not just messing with, I want this run by my cronies and my type. You are also undermining its basic function, especially when it's Donald Trump. And you're absolutely right that this has to be a trouncing on behalf of Republicans. If Republicans want any chance at salvaging their party, Donald Trump needs to be fucked into next century by this election. He needs to be embarrassed to show his face outside the Tower of Mar-a-Lago. He's got to grow old, growing his nails out and pissing in mason jars for the rest of his life, like Howard Hughes. He's got to, otherwise, and I think he will be, but otherwise there'll be this illusion that, we weren't loud enough in our bigotry, racism, and our shitting on women. We just should have, or some people will dumb it down and go, he was too loud with it and we need to do it in secret, or we just need a better messenger for our awful plan, right? And they have to be obliterated in the election to get the fucking message, because they're not going to get it any other way.
Yeah, that's what has to happen, and we can. First off, understand that there's 21% more people at the opening night of the DNC than there was at the opening night of the RNC. And, we're talking about numbers, and Donald Trump loves numbers, and he hates numbers that are bigger than his. But that's exactly what's taking place. That's what's happening. The RNC did not bring people together. It didn't fire anybody up. They had a bunch of caricatures, Hulk Hogan, racist ass, fake wannabe athlete. Then you got Kid Rock that's had 2 songs over the last 30 years, and that he's just a pander is what he is. But I mean, the speakers at the DNC have been on fire. I really believe that it's really firing a lot of people up in this country. I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that Donald Trump, he's just a broken record. He says the same thing. I mean, Donald Trump isn't telling people how he's going to allow or help the elderly to be able to live in dignity. He's not talking about elevating people out of poverty. He's not talking about supporting jobs and bringing more jobs from overseas. Donald Trump is doing nothing but talking about crowd size and saying that America is a third world country. Well, if we're a third world country, first and foremost, the stock market is trading better than it's ever done before. Right now, you've got infrastructure projects going on all over the country due to President Biden's infrastructure package, the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act, capping insulin, capping prescriptions for the elderly people. There is so many things that Joe Biden has done that has made this country better. And now we know, Donald Trump absolutely tried to sabotage our exit strategy from Afghanistan. He absolutely did that. Donald Trump is now looking like he's guilty, most likely, of going against the Logan Act, which basically says that a civilian doesn't have the power to participate in politics with other countries.
And negotiate on behalf of the United States government, right?
Yeah. Right now, they're saying that basically Donald Trump called Netanyahu and said, once again, don't solve no problems. We want chaos so that I can win. Don't fix the border, even though the Republicans and the Democrats came together with bipartisanship and created a border bill that creates another 1,400 Border Patrol agents, brings in lawyers to be able to deal with the asylum cases that are stacking up, and provide equipment that will allow us to check 50% of the vehicles crossing the border, where right now we only have the ability to check 5% for fentanyl. So these are the things that Donald Trump has already tried to sabotage the border bill, and now he's trying to sabotage Gaza and what's going on in Israel. So, I mean, Donald Trump needs to absolutely be defeated. But you know what, folks? Vote because you want to see somebody who has never had accountability get accountability. And that's what's going to happen in this race.